Hey guys, Spud here, as always, and today we have a recording of another one-on-one training session with one of my students. Today's student was struggling with flying the Apache, and I think you'll agree he made some fantastic progress from the beginning of this lesson to the end, going from not being able to take off without my intervening and taking over to prevent a crash, to being able to land the mighty Apache nice and softly. In between, we worked on hovering behind cover, using the various sensors and weapon systems of the helicopter, and how to use the IHADSS to cue the gun for up-close snapshots. I absolutely love training folks in multi-crew modules. They are always some of the most fun lessons because I can really get across various flying techniques and not just the procedural button pushing. It's also nice because I can take the flight controls and prevent a student from crashing, and that definitely alleviates some frustration. So keep in mind guys, I do one-on-one training with all of my patrons who support the channel with $15 or more on Patreon. Thanks guys, and enjoy the video. We are going to be sparkling on a laser code of 2111, as well as our weapons will look for 2111 for the code as well.
211, gotcha.
Alright, then let's see here. I'm going to go for my acquisition is going to be your helmet mounted sight, so that way I can see what you're looking at very easily.
Perfect.
Okay, let's see. A couple more things to do here. Actually, that's more or less it. It's a pretty easy aircraft to actually start up.
Yes, for me it's the most easiest one.
Well, that's good. So would it be helpful for me to kind of give you a demonstration on how to take off and then hover and then set it back down for you, or do you want me to just kind of walk you through it verbally?
Just be my guest, my friend, and I'll do it, and I'll try to replicate you later.
Okay, so what we'll do here is, so we're gonna practice what's called positive exchange of flight controls. So if I'm flying the aircraft, I'm going to say my flight controls, and you will then say to me your flight controls. If I give the flight controls back to you, I'm going to say your flight controls, and you'll say my flight controls. Okay? So my flight controls, and I'm going to press the C key on the keyboard. And by pressing the C key on the keyboard, that's how DCS World knows that you have control of the aircraft, okay?
Okay.
Awesome. So my flight controls, and we'll do a little bit of a takeoff and a little bit of a hover demonstration here. So if you could do one thing for me, go ahead and, oh, never mind, I just got it with my toe brakes. I was going to say turn off the parking brake. I forgot I could get it with my toe brakes here. When you are first learning, it's best to take off with your nose pointed into the wind, which I believe we already are. However, I don't see a windsock around us. So with your nose pointed into the wind, then you won't have the extra issue of having the helicopter weather vane into the wind. So when you start to take off with the helicopter, the wind is going to hit your tail and then pull you into the wind. So that way it's going to want to snap your nose towards the wind right away. So if your nose is already pointed into the wind, then you don't have to worry about that issue, and can be, make it a lot easier to actually take off.
Okay, I see.
Now, as we're taking off, rather than just pulling up on the collective and then kind of adjusting with our rudder pedals and our stick as after we pulled the collective up and we're already off the ground, we want to be very slowly, gently pulling the collective up and putting in the rudder inputs that we need in order to keep the aircraft from moving on the ground, as well as the stick inputs. And then right before we lift off, we'll hit the trimmer and then hopefully snap that position of our pedals as well as our collective in there, so that way we can then take off much easier. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ease off on the toe brakes, so that way there's no braking action on the wheels. And I'm just going to very, very gently pull up on the collective. So here we go. You can see the engine values start changing as I pull up.
Okay, yes.
And looks like we're pretty good right now, but I'm going to just start very gently putting in any pedal or stick that I feel like we need. So it feels like we're rolling to the right slightly, so I'm just giving it a little bit of left stick. Still pulling up, still pulling up. Alright, nose is starting to come right just a hair, so just a little bit of left rudder. And then just see how slow and gentle I am with everything?
Yes, I can see that. Yes.
So real slow, real gentle. And then if we need to, we can add a little bit of trim. So see how we're starting to drift backwards there? So I'm letting the nose come down a little bit to cancel that out. Drifting right slightly, so I'm a little bit of left stick to cancel that out. Now I'm drifting to the left, so a little bit of right stick to cancel that out. It's kind of like pretending you're on ice, right? So you have to kind of, any movement that you make, you then have to cancel out. You can't just put in a control movement and then not cancel it out. Does that make any sense?
Yes, perfectly.
So we're just kind of hanging out here, just kind of trying to keep the helicopter as still as I can, and just making those gentle movements. So then when I'm ready to say take off, I can then, pull up on the collective a little bit more, but nice and slow, nice and gentle still. And then once I'm a little bit higher off the ground, I can ease the nose down to start that forward flight like you're used to. Make sense?
Okay, yes, perfectly.
So I'm going to set her back down here, nice and gently. Just really let her just come down so slow that I don't even know when I'm on the ground again. There we go. And then I'll have you do it, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna try it.
Alright, you have the flight controls?
My controls?
Alright, you have control now? So just start pulling up real nice and gentle. Nothing too harsh. The slower and more lazy we are, the easier this is.
Okay, Helica is now drifting a bit to the right.
Yep, so a little bit of left stick. Nice, good job canceling that out. Very nice, starting to get a little lighter on the controls, a little bit of left rudder. Hold that left rudder in there. Hold that left rudder in there, a little bit more collective, a little bit more left stick. Left stick. A little bit more, there you go. There you go. A little more left rudder, nice and gentle.
Oh man.
I'm gonna pause it for just a moment here. On your rudder pedals, where are your feet on the rudder pedals?
Where are my feet? What do you mean?
Like, so when you're flying a helicopter, you want to make sure that the balls of your feet, which is the area of your foot just, behind your toes, is on the bottom of the pedals, and you want to have your heels on the floor. Are your heels on the floor?
Oh, yes. Okay, I understand. Yes, there are. Yes, perfect.
Okay, good. So when you put in that rudder pedal movement, and you feel like the helicopter's nose is no longer moving, I want you to hold and lock it in there. You don't just press and then let go of it. Hold and lock in where those rudder pedals are. And then once you have the nose is no longer moving left or right, you want to keep that and hold it for a little bit, and then you can hit the trimmer and trim it out. Does that make sense?
Okay, I see. Okay.
All right. Let me know when you're ready to unpause.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, here we go. There you go. So nice and gentle on everything.
I don't know Wait, please pause. I don't.
Yep.
I think I have some mixed controls here because
Okay.
I noticed some input. I don't know what's happening here. Just let me check.
Okay.
I mean, seriously? Access commands. Oh, I see.
What's the issue?
I had also set to the gamepad. I thought I had this thing cleared out.
Okay. Well, I think I might have to take control and save us here.
Let me clear this. Clear category.
All right.
Okay, it's done. Okay, now things will be more gentle.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and take the controls so that way I can try and save us here so that way we don't crash. And then I'll set her back down in a pad, and we will attempt to try another takeoff. Okay.
Okay.
If we crash, then we'll just restart a new helicopter. All right. So here we go.
Okay, I'm done.
All right.
I'm ready.
Okay, I have controls.
Got controls.
Whew, that was close. All right. Let's see what we can do here. Just want to slow this girl on down. I'm so glad I'm not a helicopter pilot in real life. This stuff is so scary. All right. Just gently ease her on over to this pad right over here. About 30 feet off the ground. Oop. Not liking the wind, so we'll try and get into a pad that's better aligned with the wind. So we'll just kind of ease the nose down a little bit here. You cancel the master warning for me?
Yes.
Thank you. Come on, Spud. You can do it. The wind is kind of killing me right now. All right. It's also, I'm usually used to flying in the back seat, so this is definitely a different sight picture, but I'm sure we'll make it all right. Just put her down on this pad right over here. We'll do a quick systems check and make sure we didn't totally bork our engines. I think we're okay. Just nudge her forward just a little bit. Pull the nose back a little bit to cancel it out. A little less collective. And we feel heavy. Come on. Come on. There we go. Alright. Well, that extra time taking up a whole bunch of gas is good, because that'll make us lighter, which will make us easier to fly. Alright, I'm going to cancel out my master warning. I'm just going to check our engines real quick here. Just make sure that we haven't damaged anything.
All green in here.
Alright, everything's looking green up front as well. Okay. Yeah, so just give it another try here, and just really concentrate on those nice, small, tiny, slow control inputs, and definitely having that off your gamepad will help.
Okay, I'm off. The gamepad is off.
Alright, your flight controls.
My controls.
Alright.
Okay, this is something. Alright, now pedals are working. Okay.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay. Let me try this. Okay. Gentle on the call. I'm gentle on the collective.
All right. Just keep in mind that right in front of us we've got a light post, so we'll have to come slightly to the right to avoid that light post.
Will do. Or better, I will try to do.
Right at about 60%. Oh, roll left, roll left, roll left. Gentle jump, though, gentle. Even though we gotta make a big correction, want to be smooth and gentle with that correction. So hold in that left stick, and then once you get it to a point where the helicopter is no longer rolling, then hit that trimmer for me.
Okay.
So we should start to lift off right about 60% torque or so. Good. So see how the nose, a little bit of right rudder pedal, just a little bit of left stick, a little bit more right rudder pedal. Nice. Start to come up a little bit more. There we go. And a little bit of forward stick, cancel out that backward slide. There you go. Start a little more collective. There you go. Get her off the ground to a safe altitude. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Much, much better. A little bit more collective. There you go. Just want to try and keep that. See the little caret on our altimeter on the right of the IHADSS? Want to keep that caret. If that caret's in the middle there, then you're zero climb rate. If it goes up, then you're climbing. If it goes down, then you're descending. There you go. So let's fly out towards the water out in front of us. So just dip that nose down a little bit. Kind of watch out for that. Cool. A little less collective for me. So one thing that a little more collective. Try not to descend here. And we're clear of that light post. So one thing that's really, really going to help you is, you know how I said to start going forward towards the water here? You drop the nose, which is perfect. That's what you want to do to start going forward in a helicopter, right? But then what you did was you pulled up on the collective in order to start speeding up going forward, right?
Yes, yes.
So instead of that, next time you start to try and go forward, lower the nose, but pull up just enough collective to start flying forward. Does that make sense? So that way you're at the same altitude, you're maintaining your altitude, but you're also going forward now. If we pull up on the collective just to start speeding up going forward, then we're going to have to start dancing on the pedals again to try and keep the nose from going way haywire left and right.
Okay, I see. Yes.
Yeah. And then now that we've got some forward momentum here, now we can kind of more or less fly it like an airplane. So let's try flying over to that pier over there at our 3 o'clock. So try and just come to the right slightly, roll right, and then pull back on your stick a little bit. Nice and gentle. See how it kind of just flies like an airplane now?
Yeah, perfectly.
Yeah. So it's kind of like we are flying an airplane in the region of reverse command. So remember how hard it was when you were learning to land the F-18?
Yeah, yes, of course, I remember.
Yeah, so pretend like you are landing an F-18 the entire time you're flying the Apache. So what you're doing is you're using your collective or your throttle for your altitude, and you're using your pitch for your speed, just like you would when you're landing an F-18 with the landing gear down and the flaps out.
Oh yes, okay, yes, I understand.
If we look at the little ball on the bottom of our IHADSS, that's kind of like a slip skid indicator in a fixed wing airplane. So if you try to put enough pedal to bring that little ball inside the two brackets there, those two vertical lines, and then you hit the trimmer, then we'll be flying even more like a fixed-wing airplane. We'll be nice and trimmed out aerodynamically. Just watch the ground and the trees out here out in front of us. So just gently roll the airplane left and just turn the airplane, or turn the helicopter, I should say. There you go.
The waypoint 1.
Yep, exactly. So see how kind of your first instinct there was to like pull up on the collective?
Yes.
When we were kind of upset as we were coming out of the unpause there. Tried to avoid having your panic button be pulling up on the collective. And that will help us from getting into a situation where the nose is swinging wildly left and right. The helicopter isn't going to just randomly fall out of the sky, I promise you. So if we can avoid just pulling back in the collective as violently, that'll be very, very helpful.
Okay. Will do.
Yeah. Okay. Coming up on waypoint 1, I'll give us a direct to waypoint 2 now. That's going to be right over there following the coastline.
See?
So do you see the little velocity vector out there in front of us? Try and put that velocity vector right on top of our waypoint. Let's fly right to the waypoint.
Okay.
Let's try and hold 100 feet over the water.
100 feet.
That's looking good. And then roll the helicopter just slightly to the left, and that'll bring that velocity vector right on top of our waypoint. I don't care how fast we're going, I just want to make sure we're nice and level at 100 feet. Remember, nice and gentle, nice and slow with those corrections on the collective. And then to get us heading back towards our waypoint there, just roll us left, and see how that velocity vector will just slide to the left for you? Nice. Starting to descend a little, so just a little hair up on the collective. Better correction, but even slower on that correction with the collective. Nice and slow. Unless you're going to hit trees or something, but otherwise, we'll always just want to be nice and slow, nice and gentle all the time. Beautiful. Got our velocity vector right on our waypoint here. I like it. So now I'm going to have you do a 180-degree turn. Let's fly direct right back to waypoint 1. Let's do a 180-degree turn to the left side. So fly it like a helicopter for this nice big turn. Fly it like an airplane for this turn. We got a lot of airspeed to work with. Just roll and pull, just like you would in an airplane, and then just bring the nose around just a little bit of left rudder. Nice. That's looking really good. Beautiful. Flying right back to our other waypoint here. Okay, have you ever used the gun in the Apache from the backseat?
Yep. Yes.
Awesome. go ahead and WAS your gun.
Okay.
All right. Now, personally, I think that manual range for using the gun is the best way to use it, as opposed to using the automatic range. The automatic range can be thrown off by a bunch of different things, such as undulating height of terrain, or if you are climbing or descending, that's also going to throw off your aiming point. So I personally find it's just easier to use the gun in manual range and then just kind of use like some Kentucky windage to get the rounds onto target, seeing where the rounds impact and then adjusting your aim point from there. Okay. I'll usually set my manual range to 1,000 yards. By default it's set to 1,500, but so that's up to whatever you like best for the range there. Alright, coming back to waypoint 1. This time we'll head back to waypoint 2 once we hit waypoint 1, and then I want you to turn to the right hand side this time. It's usually a little bit harder to turn to the right hand side in a helicopter, but I think you can do it. Try and hold 100 feet over the water if you can. Got you direct to waypoint 2 again. So going to the right usually requires a little bit more rudder than going left. A little too much collective. See how we're climbing in that turn? Nice job. I like it. Okay. So now let's try slowing down. Let's try and stay right here 60 feet above the water, but let's try slowing down a bit. So let's try and go for about 30 knots of airspeed. So start to pull back on your stick a little bit. Nice and gentle. And then we want to try and stay as level as possible. So we need a little more collective. A little bit more. There you go. Nice. Good job on the slowdown. I like it. Cool. So see how we're kind of bobbing up and down a little bit there? That's usually a result of moving the controls a little bit too fast. And so try and hold the controls still in one spot, then hit the trimmer, and then let everything come back to center. There we go, dampening it out a little bit. A little too much collective.
Very not serious. Now just need to hold it.
Yep. Careful on the descent rate. It's hard, right? Because you have to, it's harder than flying an airplane because you have to have so many different controls working all at once, basically.
Yeah,
and
everything happens so fast, but I mean really, really fast.
Yeah. Biggest thing to do though is really just keep your eye on that altimeter on your IHADSS. If you can keep the helicopter at a level altitude, you know, the same altitude throughout all these maneuvers, that's really, really gonna help. There you go. So that's very, very close to a hover right there. So that's nice. But when you get to that hover, right, that usually means you're going to have too much collective, so you need to start letting out on that collective a little bit to keep it nice and steady. Okay, so we're pretty much really close to hovering. Pull up on the collective just a hair to keep that little triangle. We want to keep it right in the middle of our altimeter scale. And then just pull up on the nose just a hair, nice and gentle. Just be really, really lazy, really slow for when it comes to getting into a hover. A little bit more collective. Nice, there you go. Now we're hovering. Just a little bit of left rudder. And see how we're... Just a little bit, though. Nice and gentle. Small changes, small increments. Remember how I said earlier about when I say be gentle, and you have in your head what gentle means? I want you to take that and multiply it by 3 when it comes to being slow and gentle. I promise you won't crash. We just want to be nice and slow with everything we do. The slower and lazier we are, the easier it's going to be.
Okay.
Nice. That's looking better. Nice, I like that. Moving the stick to cancel out that slide. I like it. Very nice. Very nice. Looking much better. Just very slow pulling up on that collective there. Slow. See how we kind of overshot the middle point there? That's why we want to be nice and slow. Now ideally, so see how we have our torque percentage in the top left of our IHADSS?
Yes.
We ideally want to try to avoid going up above 98%. We can avoid that by being nice and slow on our collective movements.
Okay.
Get a little low over the trees here. That's okay. Nice. So let's just creep up on waypoint 2 here. Nice and slow, nice and easy. Just going real slow, real low to the ground. Just creeping up, sneaking up on waypoint 2 here. Nice, I like it. So this slow creep that we're doing right now, that's going to be real nice and stable for me to use Hellfires on a target.
Okay, yes, I understand.
Nice, I like that slow creep. And if you, as we're kind of creeping up on the waypoint here, see how we're kind of sliding to the right? Just a little bit, tiny left stick. Try to use the stick more than you use the rudders. The rudders kind of throw everything off. But if you use the stick, it's just going to kind of be able, like a little fine-tuning adjustment.
Okay.
Nice, great job. Okay. I'll give you direct to waypoint 3 now. And that's going to be off into the mountains a little bit here, off to the right-hand side. And you go ahead and try speeding up a little bit, but speed up nice and slowly and smoothly, and we'll fly out to waypoint 3 at a higher airspeed this time.
Same height?
Yeah, let's keep it nice and low here. Just watch out for trees, power lines, all that good stuff. Alright, I'm trying to figure out why is my TADS slave to the front of the helicopter. Why can't I move it? Oops. that's why. There we go. Alright, I'm heads down. Don't crash us. Alright, doing much better. I like it. So, on the map, we can kind of see a little town off to our 10 o'clock that's on the coastline. We've got some targets in that town that we can attack, but the Apache likes to be nice and slow and hang out and hide behind trees and things, so that way we can stay well away from the bad guys and be able to search for them and then attack them with our long-range Hellfires, and then maybe even lob some rockets at them from a nice long distance away.
Okay.
So we'll keep coming up towards waypoint 3, and that'll give us a good vantage point to kind of slow down, hide behind some trees out there, and then we'll be able to go and attack these guys. You'll see how we kind of lost the nose off to the right there?
Yes.
That was a little bit because of a change in the collective. As you get slow, those changes in the collective are going to change our yaw quite a bit. And so that way we just have to be ready to jump right on it with our rudder pedals. So just kind of climb up over these trees as much as we can. Nice. And then we can start going forward over the top of them. Nice job.
What are you saying?
Oh, I was just saying that if we fly out here towards waypoint 3, that'll give us a good spot to start from looking for targets and attacking those targets. So one thing that kind of lead a little bit to these oscillations that we're feeling here is if we are kind of overusing the trim a little bit. So we want to use the trim, but we also don't want to overuse the trim. We also don't want to overuse our collective, right? We just kind of want to set the power and leave it there for as long as we can without changing it. So yeah, that was much better. So instead of pulling up on the collective on that one, you more or less just kind of pulled back on the nose to gain altitude, and that's what we want to do. Now, as we run out of airspeed and out of energy, now we're going to have to pull up on the collective to get up and over these trees here. Nice and gentle, pull up, pull up, pull up. Start to pull back on the nose a little bit. That's nice and gentle. Cool. Good job. Then let the nose come down again.
Oh my god, sorry.
You're good. It's just practice. Just requires practice. You're really doing pretty darn good. I know it doesn't feel like it. Is it alright if I take over and demonstrate some things for you?
Yes.
Alright. My controls.
Your controls, my hands are sweating.
So that's another thing that I'm glad you said your hands are sweating. So that's another thing that we want to try and eliminate here is we don't want to be holding onto our controls really hard. We want to be nice and relaxed, nice and gentle on the controls with our physical hands, not just gentle on the controls in terms of moving the controls themselves.
Okay, yes, okay.
So we want to try to get to a point where we're holding on to our collective and holding on to our cyclic just very gently with our fingertips, nice gentle fingertip pressure. And what that'll do for us is the more relaxed our hands are and our forearms are and our biceps and our shoulders, the more precise and the quicker the movements we can make with our controls. Very tense muscles that are fatigued because you've been squeezing onto the controls for so long make for really jerky, really harsh movements on the controls. And so that, the helicopter doesn't like that. The helicopter just likes to be nice and gentle, nice and easy. So if I'm coming up, let's try and copy what we had back there a little bit. So we're coming up on this hill here. We've got ourselves a little bit of energy. We're at about 60 knots or so.
Yes.
If we wait too long, like so we're getting pretty close to those trees before we started to pull up, right? But if we want to pull up on the stick first, then pull up on the collective, but ideally we want to kind of be a little bit more ahead of the helicopter and try to climb a little bit earlier, so that way we don't run into a situation where we're now super close to the trees and having to kind of rip up on the collective to make sure that we clear them. Okay. Flying the helicopter, you always have to have kind of a mental plan, even more so than when you're flying a fixed-wing aircraft, although that is exceedingly important while flying a fixed-wing aircraft. We want to just always think of what we're going to do before we do it, so that way we can be planning ahead all the time and then make adjustments that we may need to make as far in advance as possible. So, for instance, let's say, see this tree line here off of our left at our 9 o'clock? Let's try and hide behind it. So to hide behind it, I want to give myself plenty of space to slow down and make my run up to that tree line to hide behind it. I don't want to make that decision too late and then have to worry about making a bunch of corrections very, very quickly, because then we're going to run out of energy or run out of torque that we have available to us, which will be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. So see how making this decision and just very gently creeping up on this tree line, nice and slow, taking my time. Same thing for a landing. We want to be... Landings should take longer in a helicopter than they do in your F-18. You just want to take it nice and slow, be nice and lazy with it. So if I'm coming up on this tree line, I'm just making very gentle adjustments. I keep saying that. I know I keep saying that. I'm just repeating it ad nauseum, but it's so important.
No, believe me, I find it very, very useful, very important. That's just easy to say than do it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's really all about practice. Having high-end controls like vertical controls or wind wing controls also very much helps with this, because you can make those gentle, slow corrections much, much easier. So let me know when your hands are rested. You just kind of shake them out a little bit, wipe that sweat off, and then I'll give you the controls back.
Okay. Just a few minutes.
No problem.
1 minute.
So now that we're hiding behind this tree line, and we're more or less in a hover, I'm not going to change or make adjustments with my rudder pedals or with my collective very much. I mean, I'm going to have to kind of adjust my collective to make sure I have enough lift so that way I don't settle into the ground. But if I need to, say, creep up to the trees a little bit, I just let the nose come down just a hair, then I pull the nose back up. See how I'm climbing a little bit, so I'm just going to pull down on the collective just a hair, but not too much. anything that I do, I immediately have to cancel it out. And when you're moving the stick, doing what's called the bump and nudge method can be a lot better than actually moving the stick itself. So what that means is I'm keeping the stick right in the center of the travel of the stick, and then if I need to, say, move the nose down, I'm just kind of bumping and nudging my stick forward and then returning it back to the center position. If I need to slide back, I'm just bumping and nudging my stick back, and now I'm sliding back, and then I'm going to bump and nudge my stick forward and to cancel it out. So rather than moving the stick and then holding it, that makes for way too big of a correction just like that. If I want to slide to one side or the other, it's much, much easier if I just bump and nudge the stick. Now I've kind of lost my hover after trying to demonstrate that, but let's see if we can get it back. So bump and nudge, just canceling everything out, pretending that we are just kind of floating on ice, like we're ice skating. I think a good analogy for flying helicopters is I'm ice skating, right? It's not like I'm on the ground where I can just kind of stop whenever I want to stop. I have to adjust my skates in such a way that it keeps me from sliding across the ice.
That makes perfectly sense.
So just bump and nudge. We're just going to slide back away from the trees a little bit because I'm making myself a little uncomfortable with that. Just slide, 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 and then, okay, I'm going to cancel it out. Now I'm going to stop myself from sliding across the ice by just dipping my nose a little bit. And it's hard. I know it's hard, and I hope I'm not making you feel bad or anything, because that's not the intent.
No, not at all. I'm just grateful you're here. Really.
So as you get more and more comfortable with things, you can then start to make bigger adjustments with your controls. So see how there I kind of just went pretty quick away from that tree line that we were at?
Yes.
As you get more precise with your controls, you can start to make those bigger movements on the controls and make those bigger maneuvers to adjust where you are.
Okay, well, I think I'm ready.
Okay. Let me get it nice and trimmed out for you. Go ahead and put your collective right in the middle of its travel, so that way it won't have too big of an upset here. And your controls in 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and take it.
My controls.
Nice. That was pretty smooth.
Okay, which way you want me to go?
Okay, so see the kind of the valley we're in here?
Yes. Yeah.
Let's try and see if we can hide in this valley, but kind of come off to the left to about our 11 o'clock. See that kind of town on the coastline down there at 11 o'clock?
Yes. Yeah, I see them.
Nice. That's going to be where we've got some bad guys that we can look for. I'm going to put your pilot view up on my video page. There we go. Now I can see what you're doing there. Okay. Kind of slow us down a hair if you can. And then also, if you go to, or I can take over if you want. I was going to try and, if you want to, you can set my TADS as your acquisition source, so that way you'll be able to see where the TADS is looking as you're flying the helicopter around, so that way you can easily get lined up for Hellfire shots.
Oh, okay.
Do you know how to do that?
I think so.
Okay. Let me know if you need me to take over.
If I can.
Whoops, I did not mean to fire that. My mistake. Did you get the acquisition source at the TADS?
Yeah, maybe it's better you take the controls, please.
Okay, my controls.
Damn it. Let's just see, how do I do that?
Go to your weapon page.
Weapon page. Okay, I see it. Acquisition source. TADS.
Yep. Nice. So now you'll have a little cross that's kind of got some dashed lines, and that will show you where my TADS is looking. So that way you can line the helicopter up for a shot. All right. You can have it back if you'd like.
Wait. Where are you seeing that?
It's actually, we're facing away from it now, so that's why you can't see it.
No, I mean the weapons. I'm on the weapon screen. I'm acquisition source TADS, and then what?
Oh, yep, that's all you got to do. It's acquisition source, then TADS, and then you'll be able to see in the field of view of your IHADSS a little cross that denotes where my TADS is looking. So that way you can line your helicopter up for rocket as well as Hellfire shots.
I don't see any cross, any indication of your TADS.
Okay, no problem. Let me move the helicopter around, and you should, hopefully, if things went correct, you should be able to see that cross out there on top of that city out there.
Okay, I see it. Okay.
Yep.
That's cross. Okay, I see it.
Yep, that's all you got to do. And if we are flying away from it, you won't be able to see it, obviously, right?
Of course, okay. Then, only if I look to it. Okay.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so we'll kind of hang out in this valley here, so we'll fly this direction for a bit, and then we'll turn around and we'll start to engage some targets, okay?
Okay.
All right, your controls whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Go for it.
My controls.
All right. So some threats here with this valley is we do have some high tension power lines off to our 9 o'clock, so just be careful of that.
I've seen it. Okay, I'm turning back to the city now.
Okay. Nice, good job in the turn. Yeah, trying to slow us down just a little bit, give ourselves plenty of time. Nice. Yeah, just keep creeping on up this direction here. Don't worry about hovering. This creep is going to be fine because we're currently out of range to fire a Hellfire anyway. Plus, I don't see any targets yet. Just be aware of those power lines that we've got in front of us. Good job climbing up above that. Best thing to do once we got a missile in the air is just try to keep the helicopter as still as you can. And that's a kill. Nice job, dude. And just keep this helicopter just creeping forward, nice and slow. And I'm gonna go to TV mode. Got another little vehicle park here. You can also see a video readout of the TADS on one of your MFDs in the back if you'd like me to show you how to do that.
I knew how to do it. Let me see. Like a video. Okay, that's
Yep. Go to video.
That's okay.
Yep. And now you should be able to see what I'm seeing. Alright, there goes another rifle. Alright, there's 2 more dead trucks. There's another one. Alright, good hits. Okay, so now we're getting to a range where I would be a little bit worried about, people shooting back at us. So let's go ahead and turn to the right, and we'll do a quick turn and head back up the valley here.
Okay.
A little bit more rudder, kind of whip that nose around here. Let's pretend some people are shooting at us, and we just want to get out of the way as quick as we can. Nice, good job. And we'll just kind of head back up that valley we were in.
That's to the right, correct?
Yes, exactly. Follow this road.
Watch those bar lines.
Okay, and once we get up to kind of halfway up this valley here, we'll make a left-hand turn, and we'll whip the aircraft around, and we'll attack some more targets.
Hydra. Left turn, you say?
Yeah, let's go left. Just don't run us into the hill. Let's try slowing up a little here. Give us plenty of time to engage targets. Alright, nice job. Okay, I'm heads down now again. Got a target. So try and bring the nose just a hair to the left. There we go. That's looking better. Nice. And Shaq, nice job. Find something else to hit. There's another truck. Let's try a different weapon here. Let's have you see what firing rockets at somebody looks like.
Isn't it a big distance for rockets?
Yeah, it's pretty far. We'll get a little closer here. Set my range appropriately as we get a little closer here. Okay, let's go for 4,000.
One of the hardest things is to fly in the helicopter and to contemplate the beauty of the sea. Man, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is absolutely beautiful.
That's why there's two guys, right? Because it is a lot of work.
Yes, but I mean, you're in, I believe, San Diego, correct?
Yeah. Helicopter right, just a hair to the right, just a hair. Nose right, just a hair. That should be pretty close. Let's see. Oh, just a hair short. Okay. 2,500 yards. Let's try that. That might work. I'm not the best at being a gunner. Yeah, I went a little bit wide. That's all right. Okay, let's go hard right-hand turn and let's head up the coastline here. Trying to more or less just give you an exercise for flying the helicopter. I definitely need to brush up on my gunner skills.
Going from the coastline.
So if we were getting shot at by folks, best way to avoid that is just get low. Get fast and low.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know.
There we go. Coming down, I like it. So now that we're getting better, we're feeling a little bit more confident with controlling the helicopter, which is fantastic. Let's be a little bit more aggressive with this turn when we go to turn around back towards our target. And let's try and kill a lot of this airspeed in the turn. So it's going to be a hard turn, just like you would kill airspeed with a fixed-wing airplane with a hard turn. We do the same thing with our helicopter here.
Okay.
So for that, I actually prefer to go to the hard side, which is the right-hand side, and I feel like that will kill more of our airspeed. So let's go ahead and try it.
To the right side?
Yep. So roll, pull, bunch of rudder, bunch of right rudder, whole bunch of right rudder. Nice. Look at that airspeed going way down there, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Good job, dude. All right, now it's hard to get back into control of things. Now pick the nose up so we don't get fast again, right? So now we're going fast the other direction.
Of course. Yeah, we really slow down.
Yeah.
Half speed, more than half speed.
Yep. So now we can slow down again so that way we don't get too close to our target. Nice, good job. And now we're nice and low, which will help us avoid getting shot at by things like SAMs or heavy AAA, things like that. I've got a good shot lined up here for a Hellfire, so let's go ahead and do that. Cool, we got him. And you say you have used the gun from the back seat, right?
Yep.
Okay, let's go ahead and get closer to the city here. Let's have you try using the gun. So go ahead and WAS the gun.
Got lost.
Nice, and let's just enter into a left-hand orbit around the city. So let's go offshore a little bit.
Offshore. Okay.
How are your hands feeling on the controls?
A little bit sweating, but less than before.
Good. So try and kick in some of that right rudder to get so our nose pointed offshore, right? A little bit of right rudder. Start to roll the aircraft to the right and pull. And then trim the airplane out, or the helicopter out, I should say. Then more right rudder, right? So here, this is actually a good teaching point. So let me go ahead. I'm going to take over for a moment and demonstrate something for you.
Okay.
My controls.
Your controls.
So what can happen is, you know, you're using the trimmer a lot, and I know you're using the trimmer a lot because we're getting some SAS saturated warnings, which is fine. It means we're probably overusing the trim a little bit, but not a big deal, right? As when you're learning, using the trim really helps. But what happens is, let's say, you know, we're in a place where we're flying the helicopter and we have to use a lot of left rudder, and we get to a point where we have it trimmed out with a lot of left rudder, and now we're at a point where, okay, it's trimmed, you know, it's relatively stable, and we need more left rudder, and we trim it out again, and so that's the new center point, and then we need to go with right rudder, and now it's almost like I don't have enough right rudder to cancel out that movement. Well,
Yeah.
I actually do, but what's happening is you've trimmed the helicopter so far away from the physical center of your controls that you no longer have enough control authority.
It happened. It happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so then what you want to do is trim out the helicopter really quick, then put in even more of that rudder direction you need to go. And that will take care of the issue. So when that happens, like, it felt like you weren't able to bring the nose to the right-hand side there. And when that happens, that's fine. Just make sure you trim it out real quick, and that'll give you more of that control authority for you. Yeah. All right. I'll go ahead and trim it out nice and well for you here. And your controls.
My controls.
Beautiful. All right, we got lots of soldiers and bad guys and whatnot in here, so let's go ahead and go hit them with our gun.
Nope.
The easiest thing is to kind of have the target off to, I feel like it's easier, off to the left-hand side, and then shoot your gun as you're passing with the target on the left-hand side of the helicopter.
Okay. Oh my. Oh, it's on.
You all right?
Yeah. I think I'm a bit far, right? No, don't you think?
Yeah, we're pretty far. We need to get a little closer. So directly dead ahead, see the soldiers on the shoreline there? There's also a vehicle right over there.
I think, yes, okay. I see that.
Beautiful. Go ahead. Getting a couple of them. Nice job.
Yeah.
And yeah, you got, looks like you got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Now see how they're running around?
Oh yeah, fine.
A little bit far. See how you kind of have to walk your bullets into it?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. You got it. Yeah, there you go. So, we got troops down there on the left. So, when the backseater uses the gun, it's usually against guys that are pretty darn close, or a target that's pretty darn close, that somehow snuck up on you. What you'll hear people in the DCS community, as well as other, like, more helicopter-focused communities, you'll hear it calling that the rear seater, the pilot, is pulling security from the rear seat.
Oh.
And so that way you can be able to protect the helicopter as you're hiding behind trees and things like that from any targets that may have snuck up on you and gotten too close to you.
Okay, I see.
But this is really good because you are controlling the helicopter pretty well while also doing something else that's highly dynamic, like aiming and shooting the gun and then walking your bullets into your target. Nice job. Alright, looks like you got a couple of them.
Let's see if I can get this.
And they're not shooting at us because they're set not to shoot at us for this training mission.
Thank you.
Yep. Nice, got him. Alright. Now that we're a bit lighter, let's head back to our helicopter port and let's try and make a landing.
Let's do it.
This is going to be the hardest part, and that's okay. It's not going to be easy, and it's just going to take practice, but we'll do our best here.
Okay. And that's waypoint.
Let me give you that waypoint here, so that way you don't have to worry about it. It's going to be waypoint 5, route direct, waypoint 5 for you. Down the coastline.
Okay, I'm gonna speed up a little.
Alright.
Just a bit off.
So really step on that right rudder. Pull back on the sticks so that way we don't hit these trees. Nice.
A little bit lag now.
Oh, you're getting laggy?
No, not now. No. Just put a few fraction of seconds.
Gotcha.
So I'll go now.
Okay. Do you want me to give you a landing demonstration, or you just want to go for it?
give me the proper indications. And I mean, when I say proper, of course, I'm being ironic, of course.
Okay.
And I'll try my best.
Sounds good. So one of the biggest things to remember, and it's even more true if you're flying the helicopter from the front seat here, is there is a lot of helicopter behind you. So when you're trying to land, you want to make sure that your tail isn't going to hit anything behind you as you're trying to land. So when you are trying to, say, land in one of the helicopter pads up here, we want to make sure that we're kind of putting our butt down towards the edge of the pad, so that way the fuselage and tail of our helicopter is landing more or less, hopefully, somewhere in the center of the pad.
Okay, yes, I understand. So I should be aiming or looking to a little bit in front of the pad.
Yep, exactly. So that way we put the middle of the helicopter in the middle of it. So are you feeling better about flying the Apache after what we've done today as opposed to how you were feeling about it before?
Oh yeah, way much better. I mean, I need to practice to a lot of practice to get not even close to perfect, but to feel really comfortable. But today I've done things and I haven't done before. I never managed to do a hover. First time.
Gotcha. Well, that's good. I mean, you definitely did well on that. So what we're going to do is, as we approach, you know how just like when you approach an airfield with your F-18, you know, you start setting up for landing, you know, when you're pretty far out away from the airport. And we're going to pretty much do the same thing here, but obviously we don't have to put the gear down, we don't have to put the flaps down, but we got to slow the helicopter down. And that's usually what people tend to rush when coming in for a landing with the Apache, is they rush the landing and then they get out of control and then they end up crashing. So if we just take it nice and slow with the slowing down of the helicopter, take our time, be nice and slow, getting it into a hover, then once we're in a hover, then we can kind of worry about getting nice and centered on the pad, and then when we set it down, the hard part about setting it down is right before we touch down, we're going to get into ground effect, where we're going to be pushing so much air down with our rotor blades that we're going to be creating a cushion of compressed air that the helicopter doesn't want to settle through down to the ground. And that will kind of make the helicopter feel like it'll bobble around a little bit, and then, at least when I was first learning, I'd tend to panic and pull up on the collective, and then there's no way you can land because you just shoot back up into the sky. So you kind of have to come down, you have to kind of settle out in ground effect, then you have to push the collective even further down to let the helicopter descend that last couple of feet right down to the ground. And that last couple of feet right down to the ground is where people usually get in trouble. So we'll just take it nice and slow, nice and easy, and I'll talk you right through it all.
This is the closest straight line I've ever flown. Oh my god.
Yeah, you're doing great, man. This is awesome.
So the airfield is right in front of me. Is that the waypoint?
Yeah, exactly. See those white buildings on the hillside there?
Okay, yes.
That is the helicopter port.
Okay.
I never realized the little electrical line for the flashlight up here actually bounces around as we maneuver the helicopter. That's kind of fun.
Electrical line? Where? In the co-pilot thing?
Yeah, in the gunner seat up here, I have an aviation flashlight with an electrical cord on it, and it bounces around.
Like just like the hook in the co-pilot, in the pilot seat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I really like those small details.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
ED gave us.
So we're about 2 miles out. I would start thinking about, just for the sake of just keeping it nice and slow, just start slowing us down, bring us down to about 40 knots or so.
Okay.
We are going to have to climb up a little bit to get up to our helicopter base, and that's fine. So we can slow down and climb, turn some of our forward energy into altitude. I think it might be easiest to approach our base from the shoreline. So if we come to the right to about our 1230 there and just kind of follow the shoreline, that'll keep us away from the trees.
Okay.
It's a little fast, so start slowing down a bit. Probably want to be about 30 knots or so. It's a little less collective, a little more nose up. A little more nose up. There you go. Try to maintain altitude while slowing down. Nice. There, that's what we want right there.
We also don't want to hit those light posts.
Exactly. So just to keep going this heading for now. Come off to the right just a hair. We kind of fly the geometry just like we're going for a landing on a runway, as opposed to just flying right to a helipad. Let's kind of come around a little bit. The wind is coming from a heading of roughly about 230.
Oh, I find I was looking to the wrong place. I thought I was landing right there, right in our left, but it's a little bit farther.
Oh, yeah. So it's right over there off to our left, so we'll start to come around the left a little bit. Want to keep slowing down.
Yep.
Nice, very good. But keep that left rudder coming. Left rudder. Gotta kind of swing that nose around. Left rudder running out of rudder, so trim it out and then give it some more left rudder. There you go. See now, so you see you can swing that nose around now. Careful about dipping the nose there because we're going to get fast.
Okay.
Good job slowing down. We got some lamp posts here, so watch that. Climb just a hair for me. Climb a bit. Let the nose come down. Cancel out that slide backwards.
Oh my god, I'm gonna do all over again.
Here, want me to set you up in a good spot for the landing, and then you can take over?
Well, let me try to do all the things.
Alright. So our nose is down a little bit, so kind of settle it out a little bit. And now swing the nose off to the left. There you go. Now we're in a position where there's no more light poles that we have to worry about. Descending a little bit, so a little bit more collective, just a hair. Nice. Kind of over-controlling a little bit, so just dampen out the control inputs. Roll left a little bit, cancel out that slide to the right. A little more left stick. I want to cancel out the slide to the right. There you go. And dip the nose just a little bit, get a little bit of forward velocity to get over to the pads. Let's try and land it on the taxiway in the middle of all the pads, so that way we don't have to worry about those fences.
I was aiming to the in the middle, the pad in the middle.
Yep, that works. We're a little high though for it, so keep on bringing her down. Alright, nice job sliding over for that pad. Then just dip the nose just a hair for a little bit more forward momentum.
I'm gonna land right here.
Okay, no worries. Dip the nose just a hair for me. We're gonna start sliding backwards. There you go. So see how we're kind of coming back up again? That's where it, like I said, it gets a little bit hard right here. Just above the runway. Pull back on the stick a little bit. Right stick, just a hair. And collective all the way down. Nice, you landed.
Damn, I'm tired.
Is that your first time landing?
Not my first time. It's my first soft landing. Let's just call that.
Nice, nice.
Soft landing.